Grade 10 Biology. How do organisms reproduce? Module 4. Objectives: to illustrate male reproductive system, to illustrate female reproductive system, and to explain fertilization in human. Reproduction in human being. Reproduction in human being is sexual reproduction where both the male and female gametes fertilize to give rise to a zygote. The process of fertilization occurs inside the body of the female, thus it is called internal fertilization. Let us understand more about the male and female reproductive organs and the process of fertilization in them. Male reproductive system. It consists of the following components: pair of testes, epididymis, vas deferens or the sperm duct, urethra, seminal vesicles, prostate gland, and a copulatory organ, penis. Testes. One pair of testes are present in a bag-like structure called scrotum outside the abdominal cavity. Hence, they are extra-abdominal in position. This is so because the testes have to be maintained at 1 to 3 degree lesser temperature than the body in order to produce functional sperms. Functions of testes. The following are the functions of testes. First, to produce male gametes, that is the sperms. Second, to produce a male reproductive hormone called testosterone, which is responsible for producing sperms as well as secondary sexual characteristics in males. Epididymis. Attached to each testis is a highly coiled tube called epididymis. The sperms are stored here and they mature in the epididymis. Sperm duct or the vas deferens. Each epididymis leads into the sperm duct or the vas deferens. Each vas deferens rises up and enters into the abdominal cavity. It unites with the duct coming from the urinary bladder to form a common duct called urethra, which passes through the penis and opens to the outside. Along the way, the ducts of the two glands also open and pour their secretions into the vas deferens. Seminal vesicles and prostate gland. These are the two glands in the male reproductive system. They produce different secretions which provide nutrition as well as medium for locomotion to the sperms. The secretions of the two glands along with the sperms is known as semen. Urethra. It's a common passage for both semen and urine from the body to the outside. Penis. It's organ which is used to introduce semen into the female body. It is richly supplied with blood vessels. Sperm. The male gamete or sex cell is called sperm. It has long tail. It is motile and can move independently. Female reproductive system. It consists of the following components: pair of ovaries, pair of fallopian tubes or oviducts, a uterus or womb, a vagina or birth canal. Ovary. The ovary is an organ found in the female reproductive system that produces an ovum. When released, this ovum travels down the fallopian tube into the uterus, where it may become fertilized by a sperm. Only one ovum is produced by one ovary in 1 month, and each ovary releases an ovum in alternate months. The release of an ovum from the ovary into the abdominal cavity is known as ovulation. Functions of ovary: to produce and release ova, to produce female reproductive hormones, that is estrogen and progesterone. Fallopian tube. It is also known as oviduct. There are two fallopian tubes. The two fallopian tubes unite to form an elastic bag-like structure called uterus. Functions of the fallopian tube: it's a site of fertilization between the male and female gametes and formation of the zygote. Uterus. The uterus or womb is a place where a baby grows when a woman is pregnant. The embryo formed in the fallopian tube comes down and gets attached to the wall of uterus, that is in the endometrium, and develops for the next 9 months till the baby is delivered. This process is called implantation. Vagina. The uterus opens into the vagina through the cervix. The narrow end of the uterus is called cervix. The vagina is a muscular tube through which the baby is delivered at the end of 9 months. It also serves as a canal for receiving the semen at the time of copulation. Ovum. The female gamete or sex cell is called ovum. Fertilization in humans. In humans, fertilization refers to the fusion of male and female gametes that facilitates the development of a new organism, or it's a biological process of fusion of male and female gametes resulting in the production of a zygote. The fertilization in humans take place in the fallopian tube. In this process, the semen is discharged into the vaginal tract during copulation. The sperms travel upwards and reach the fallopian tube where one sperm fuses with the ovum to form the zygote. The zygote divides and redivides to form the embryo. The embryo gets implanted in the wall of endometrium. Steps of human reproduction. Fusion of male gamete and female gamete happens inside the female body. During sexual intercourse, the sperms enter inside the female body. The sperms are motile and they swim towards the ovum. There is a single ovum and numerous sperms swim towards it to fuse with it. A single sperm gets the opportunity to fuse with the ovum. This is called fertilization. After fertilization, the membranes of the ovum become so hard that no other sperm can enter inside. The fertilized ovum changes into zygote, which further develops into an embryo. Embryo gradually develops and forms a completely developed fetus. After 9 months, the fully developed fetus comes out of mother's body as an infant. This image shows the process of fertilization. After fertilization, egg is attached to the uterine wall. This process is called implantation. Uterus prepares itself to nurture growing embryo. Its lining thickens and becomes soft. It is richly supplied with blood to nourish growing embryo. Then full development of embryo takes place in uterus. This process is called gestation period. Food is provided by the fetus by placenta. Placenta. The embryo gets nutrition from the mother's blood with the help of a special tissue called placenta, which is a disc-like structure embedded in the uterine wall. It contains finger-like villi on the embryo side, while on the mother's side, blood spaces around the villi. Villi provides a large surface area for glucose and oxygen to pass from the mother to the developing embryo and the waste to pass from the embryo to the mother through the placenta. When the egg is not fertilized, it is expelled through the vagina of the body with the broken thick layer of uterus. This process is called menstruation. The breakdown and removal of inner, thick and soft lining of uterus along with its blood vessels and the egg which is not fertilized in the form of vaginal bleeding is called menstrual flow. Menarche and menopause. Menarche is the first menstrual cycle or first menstrual bleeding in human female. It typically occurs when girls are between the age of 9 and 15 years old. Menopause. It's a stage of woman's life characterized by the end of her menstrual cycle.